Okay, now we're on to page 3. And page 3 is, we have an upper and a lower flap, and we are just going to slightly stagger these two. And I just realized that these are exactly 7 inches long, and I think that's too long. I think I want them to be a little bit shorter than the paper. So I'm going to trim these down. So I just took 1 inch off the bottom here. Okay, so these are going to be 6.5 by 4, and you're going to need 2 of them. So 6.5 by 4. And you're going to score a 1/2 inch along the 6.5 inch side. You're going to do 2, and we're going to have 1 come up from the bottom and 1 from the top, down from the top, and they're just going to be slightly staggered from each other. So I think I want to inset these away from the edge of the pocket page about a 1/2 inch, so right there. So they'll have significant overlap here, and that's fine. So I'm using my grid here to help me with that line. So I'm just making sure my paper is sitting on my grid straight. There's my 1/2 inch mark. So I'm going to go ahead and apply the bottom flap or the lower flap. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing with the top. I'm going to crank everything around, set it back in my grid nice and neat, and then I'm going to come in from the edge a 1/2 inch. And that's my 1/2 inch mark right there. And I need to make sure I did, yeah, I was making sure that my pocket was on the right side, and it is. So now I'm going to turn it right back, right side up. That's the top of page 3. There's my spine. Okay, so that's it. So we're going to use magnets to hold this closed. And I'm going to place a magnet on the outside here so that it's not touching the second panel, so that it doesn't have to go through these 3 pieces of paper, because remember, you're going to have paper on the front, back, and the cardstock itself. So I want to be able to place the magnet that marries with it directly on the pocket page, and then I know there's only 1 sheet of paper between the magnet and the top side. So we're going to start with the magnet placement on the pocket page itself. There we go. So I'm going to place it here, and then I'll find the corresponding magnet. There it is. On the flap. Okay, so that's going to hold everything nice and neat. And that's page 3. So now on to page 3. So page 3 has an upper and a lower flap, and then we have this nice big mat that's going to go on the bottom. So I'm going to just decide what my orientation is going to be. So I can do this, and then the alternative is to use the flip side of the large piece, and it's a little bit more subtle. Which I think I like because it's going to go next to this. And I think that subtle green goes a little bit better with this background here. So that's my plan. So let's go ahead and get the base in. And then we'll cover our flaps. And I've already inked it, and it looked like it fit pretty good. I'm double checking. I think I can take just a little bit off the top. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to check my orientation again. So this is up. There's my page marker. This has orientation, so I just want to make sure it goes in the correct way. All right, that's in. So I'm gonna start with the top one here, and this is it. Yeah, goes in this way. Looks good. I'm going to stick this right under the edge so I can see the corner clearly, so I can get it centered here. There we go. And okay, everything's inked. It looks good. There we go. Doesn't that look beautiful? Okay, so now the next thing is we're going to line the insides of both of these. Okay. Quick dry fit. And it looks good. It was already inked. I'm just burnishing this just to make sure the tape stays down. And I forgot to dry fit it first, but it looks good. I think this is the side I want. And it's inked, although it's very hard to tell. Yeah. Yes, yes, this is the side I want. Okay, and that is going to be the end of page 3, which was a very simple page. Page 3. Yeah. Page 4. Page 4, we have 2 flaps, a left and a right. And I'm just going to off-center them. And I'm going to pull them down a 1/2 inch from the top and push up a 1/2 inch from the bottom to locate these. These are 5 3/4 by 4, 5 3/4 by 4. You're going to score at a 1/2 inch on the 5 3/4 side. Okay, again, there's about a 1/2 inch here, and I'm just using my my grid surface area to see where my half mark is, 1/2 inch is. Okay, there we go. So there's page 3, page 3 up and down, page 4 left and right. And then we're going to, I'm thinking about this for a second. I'm going to use some magnets to hold this closed. So we'll need 2 magnets. Here we go. And that's page 4. Left and right. Okay, on to page 4. Okay, so page 4 has a left and a right flap. And then we're going to have one large photo mat, or one decorative mat on the bottom. And it looks good. Okay, so that looks good, good. And then here are the papers that I trimmed out to go on our flaps. And I believe that's my plan. Yep. But I am going to look at page 5 real quick. So page 5 is going to have this on top. So that's page 5. So I'm just looking at this to see which sides of these papers I want to use. Page 5 is going to look like so. Or I think I like this better. Like so. Okay, so it's going to be, this is going to come up from the bottom. This is going to come down from the top. So I just want to make sure all these colors go nicely together. So I have some options here. I kind of like that. Actually, we'll go this way because the words are directional. And then this is another option. Don't care for that. I think that's what I want. Okay, that's what we're gonna go with. Set page 5 aside. I'm just gonna dry fit. And it needs to be trimmed a little. I think these were the pages I was doing last night when I had to stop starting. So they may need a little trimming. Actually, the flaps are going to go like so. I'm closing it in the order so that the magnet works. So it goes like so. Okay. I'm going back and forth on which side I want. I think I'll do this side. All right, that's it. Oh my goodness. Back and forth, back and forth. That looks really good too. All right, you guys, what's it gonna be? I think I like more of the contrast. So one of the things that's kind of, I mean, I like it, but it's a challenge when you're designing, or at least I've kind of gotten used to Graphic 45 and the way they put their collections together. You always get 2 of every print, and neither Ciao nor Stamperia do that. So you, even though you get a lot of different choices, it's this or that. I can't use one sheet for this side and one sheet for the other because you only get one of each design. So it's a little bit challenging. I'm not used to that. So every time I sit down to design, I really have to give that a lot of thought, that I only get to choose one of the patterns. I can't use both, or it's limited, especially if you're doing something larger than a 6-inch format where you can't split your page in half and use one 6-inch strip for one side A and then the other 6-inch strip for side B. So it's different. And it's neither good nor bad, it's just different. And so I'm not, like I said, I'm not used to designing around that. Something new for me. So I'm getting used to it. It's getting a little easier to pick a side. It's in the beginning, it was like, oh, I want both sides. I can't do it. And you can still make it work. You just have to buy 2 packs. Okay, so that is page 4.